I never knew you could kiss people through power armor, Rampage remarked as we trod up the many flights of stairs, Psycho-Shy flying up slowly beside us. You can't. But that didn't stop her from trying, I grumbled. Even with my warnings about the chlorine gas and the contaminated food recycling system, she'd been more than ecstatic at the news. I can't believe you didn't try and get caps or anything out of her, Psycho-Shy said as she hovered effortlessly. I could tell she'd looked forward to rubbing her flight in our faces, but my legs were mechanical, Rampage couldn't get tired, Boo probably wasn't smart enough to care, and P-21 would sooner have kissed the abusive mare than complained his legs were tired. At the very least, you should have gotten a suit of power armor for yourself. I'm already half power armor. I want to be less power armor, I muttered. At least, power armor you could take off. Really? Being a cyber pony really was an advantage down in those tunnels, Rampage replied. If you were flesh and blood, we probably wouldn't have gotten out alive. I balked a moment. It's not like that. Sure, having metal limbs was helpful, but I don't know, it's like the more metal I am, the less me I am? Bitch, 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 Rampage muttered, rolling her eyes. All I'm saying is that you should be more grateful about what you are than more down on yourself for not being what you think you should be. We finally reached the sealed ward, and I pushed the door open. I noticed that some pony had cleaned the walls. There were still stains, though. We trod in, and then my ears twitched. I know we should wait, but you saw that explosion. We can't just sit around here. The voice was oddly squeaky, not the soft smoothness I remembered so fondly. Blackjack will come here if she is alive. If she's not, some pony will have to look after Scotch tape until the regeneration talisman is found. Lacuna replied smoothly from one of the hospital rooms. I stepped in and saw the alicorn looking into the bathroom. Yeah. Fortunately, I'm too dumb to die, I said brazenly as I stepped in. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh! Blurted Glory from inside. Don't come in, Blackjack! You can't see me like this! Trust me, you look a lot better than I said as I stepped into the bathroom doorway. What I beheld was neither my normal single-winged beauty nor the blue Pegasus with a rainbow mane, but a creature covered in black sludge standing next to several beakers mixed with tar-like concoctions reeking of ammonia. Her eyes rose and popped wide at the same time as mine. We pointed at each other in unison. What the heck happened to you? We shouted together. 15 minutes later, after I'd explained what happened, Rampage had stopped laughing and taken Psycho-Shy out to do something. P-21 skulked out with Lacuna as well, off to deliver the crates and talk to his daughter. He'd better be doing that. Boo lay on the hospital bed with fancy butt cake crumbs all over her mouth. That left the two of us together. So this time you're dyeing your coat black. What? Why not just shave your mane and call yourself Fallen Rainbow? She stuck her tongue out at me. Because smart ponies can learn when something doesn't work the first time, she said before stepping into the shower. Since I doubt there's a box of mane treatment anywhere in the wasteland, I simply mixed some up. It's basic organic chemistry. Lacuna helped fill in the gaps, and one of the bucks downstairs showed it was effective when we tested it on him. Right, I said as I carefully lifted one of the beakers. Is being Rainbow Dash so bad? Glory shuddered. Blackjack, you remember how upset my sister was when she thought I was a traitor? I nodded. Imagine how every Enclave Pegasus would feel if they see me. We are all educated that Rainbow Dash betrayed her own people when she left. That's just simple propaganda. I don't even want to imagine how some pony like Lighthooves would take it. Rainbow Dash is gone, and I do not want to be the new Rainbow Dash. Well, you do what you have to do, I muttered as I turned on the shower. Ah, cold? She jumped. I wish this place had enough power for hot water, she complained as she scrubbed her mane. Bitch, 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 I replied in perfect copy of the striped filly. I got barding fused to me and half my face melted off. But that's nothing compared to a little cold shower. Sorry, Gloria replied sheepishly, hanging her head a little. I sighed. Yeah, me too. Because if it was a hot shower, then nothing would stop me from hopping in there with you, I said as I examined the beakers and bottles. So, how's Scotch? Critical, but stable. We arrived with barely enough time to turn the power back on and put her in stasis, Glory said softly. Her lungs are destroyed, and her eyes and hide were severely burned by the chemicals. She lifted her face directly into the stream. I had to admit that, as much as I loved Glory, there was something a little more trim about Rainbow Dash. Lean, firm, athletic. I watched the dye slowly run off her body in pools and... Glory, are you sure that stuff works? I asked with a frown. Please, Blackjack. I've been working on it for hours. I've tested it. Make sure you don't get any on your coat, she said with just a touch of indignation. The sooner I can stop worrying about some lightning rod spy camera spotting me like this, the better. I stared as she washed the chemicals away, then covered my mouth. Oh, this wasn't funny. Don't laugh, Blackjack. Laughter is the swift and sure path to grief and angst. But I had to say something. Glory? Are you sure that it works? Yes, Blackjack. Still, as soon as this joke wears off and I can stop looking like Rainbow Dash, I swear, I feel my intelligence leaking out my ears every time I see her face. She snorted softly in irritation before sighing, slumping her head as the dye pooled like ink around her hooves. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be complaining about seeing her face when you've been hurt so badly. I just hate looking at a reflection that isn't mine. No, that's not a problem, I muttered. Glory, I'm afraid. I had to tell her. I know, but don't worry about it, she said as she sat in the shower with her eyes closed, scrubbing her coat briskly. I know that your damage looks severe, but the surgical robot here should be able to, well, patch you up. The Lacuna's recharged several healing potions, so even if they are not as effective as they could be, they should be able to help with the skin grafts and reconstruction. Granted, I'm not an expert, but I've read books on the subject, she said as she reached over for a towel and began to dry off her mane and face. The cloth instantly stained soot black from the chemicals. Well, that's great to hear, but Scotch will be fine too, I think. I'm not an expert on transplants, but if the organs really are cloned from her own body, then I don't think there's any possibility of rejection, she said as she stepped in front of the mirror, scrubbing her mane with a blackened towel. Glory? Do not laugh. Do not. Yes, what is it, Black? But her mane wasn't black, nor was her coat. A few wet streaks of black dye smeared her prismatic mane. Her hide was the exact same cyan as my statuette. Her rose-colored eyes bulged, pupils shrinking to magenta dots, locked on her reflection as her hooves trembled on the porcelain. I'm afraid the joke's still working, I snarked, my eyes watering from the repressed laughter. They probably heard her obscenity clear in Manhattan. Footnote. Maximum level reached. Quest perk added. Kissed by Discord. Do you really want to know?